Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now, it is still officially winter, I think. I'm pretty sure it's still officially winter. The days are shorter than the nights, and for every second of darkness that we are blessed with, we should take advantage of a flashlight. So we are here today to look at the Baton 3 Pro Max from Olight. So they got in touch last year. I was incredibly impressed with the Baton 3 Pro. In fact, I'd probably say since having that last year, it's my most carried light since then. I'd definitely probably say that it's my top EDC flashlight of 2022. And as soon as they announced the Baton 3 Pro Max, it just made total sense because it's just another brilliant form factor for an EDC flashlight, and being able to bump up what you got from the Baton 3 Pro up to the Baton 3 Pro Max, which I have with me as well here today. I probably should have had it for this bit. So yes, let's have a look at this. Now before we do, I just want to do a quick public service announcement. So I'll leave when the content actually starts here if you want to skip this bit. If you've seen this bit before, but I have some exciting news about Moorlander EDC and a second channel that I've started called Moorlander Tactical. Now in the past, with a lot of my EDC antics, you probably will have seen, I generally tend to get outdoors. I like a lot of military styled or genuine military kind of gear. So having been blessed and been able to work over the last nearly 5 years now with some of the top worldwide military manufacturers, I'm often asked, that was a great piece of content on a bag, would you like to try out one of these plate carriers? Now, it's not necessarily right, and I've always said no because I didn't want to muddy the content that I make here on Moorlander EDC, but I've always wanted to say yes, I'd love to. So what Moorlander Tactical does is it allows me to have another avenue that I can go, yes please, I'll take one of those, thank you very much. But also make sure that I'm not alienating any of my 12,000 subscribers here on Moorlander EDC. So I'll leave a link at the end of this, of course, or there'll be one down in the description as well, so that you can see my second channel. Come on board, have a like and subscribe, and yes, there's a little bit of content on there at the moment, but I'm more than happy because Moorlander EDC will always be my main focus. I will continue to make 2 pieces of content here every single week, as I have done whilst in good health. But as and when companies come in and ask me if I'd like to try out these sort of things, I will continue to run that second channel. So we'll have Moorlander EDC, Moorlander Tactical. But yes, that was just, as I say, it's just a quick one. Hopefully, just be a quick one. Yes. But for now, let's look at the Baton 3 Pro Max. So here we have the Baton 3 Pro Max. Just a quick look inside the box or around the box, just in case any of you want to pause this now. Here is all of your vital information. Make sure that your seats are in the upright positions and your trays are stowed away. Anyway, so inside you get everything that you expect. With Olight, you get a very kind of iPhone kind of opening experience. It's very kind of glitzy and glammy. It's very nice. You get all of your instructions that are in there. You also get this nice little cloth sack. You do get your charger, which I've just realised that I've left at home. But it always works with a magnetic charger. Now, have a look at any piece of Olight content and you'll be able to see these. I'm not a massive fan on proprietary chargers, however, because you get one with every single Olight, and if you did want to pick up a second or third one, they're not particularly expensive, but you get to use the magnet fastening here on the end. Another thing that I haven't used this one, but I have used one that I've had with a previous model, is you get one of these little L bracket things. So if you want to put this on your nightstand or underneath your nightstand so that you can pull it off, use it if you need to, or put it by your front door so that you can always pick it up on the way out. It's another great thing, another great addition that they add to this. Okay, now I know you guys really prefer to see this when it is in the dark, so I'll give you all of this information as quickly as possible so that we can have a look at it when it's in the dark. As far as the size of this comes in, again, you know, it's a fairly kind of EDC-able flashlight. So it comes in at it's 114 millimeters by 26 millimeters wide. So 26 millimeters, that's about an inch. With the battery included, it comes in at 148 grams, which, you know, is just it's kind of perfect. It's constructed from aluminium. I will triple check the aluminium. I'm guessing it's the same aluminium that a lot of companies use, which is the 6061 T6 aerospace grade aluminium. But as you tend to get with Olight, they are, you know, they're fairly robust lights. I think the IP rating on this is IPX8. The X is the dust, so they've not actually tested for dust. They've only tested for water ingression, which is 8, which is the highest it can get. So, you know, I'd say for dust, it's going to do pretty well. The charging on this is the tail charging with the magnetic charger on there. I never really kind of liked them, you know, as I've already mentioned, but I do know from talking to some of you guys and from some of the comments that you guys have made, especially when you're working in dusty environments or dirty environments, having a port that you need to put something into is often a faff or a chore, especially when you've got dirty hands. Being able to maybe it's on the side and it just connects is really useful. So I guess I've kind of learned that it's not just for me. There's a lot of people that will take advantage of that magnetic end. Now with that magnetic end, so should you need to put it onto something, you know, you can certainly do that. It's 100% strong enough that should you need to put this onto whatever, it will take the weight of the actual flashlight itself. I know I've tried other flashlights in the past where they say they have a magnetic tail end, but at certain angles they just won't hold, whereas this one, it will definitely hold. On the end here, you will be able to see the reflector in there and the LED unit. I'll leave a link below as to which LED unit is used in this if I can find it. The battery in this, so if I unscrew this, now rather than the actual tail, or at least the tail end coming out, so it's more like the whole head unit comes off, and then on the inside we have a 21700 battery. So this is a 5000 milliamp hour battery, and this is the main difference. So I know some of you might be tuning into this thinking, well, I'm into this because I've got the Baton 3 Pro and I'm really trying to work out what the difference is. So let's bring these two up, because I know this is certainly what you're going to be asking. We will have a look at the luminosity levels. In fact, let's skip the luminosity levels, because I'll touch on that when we're out in the dark. But the main differences between the two. So firstly is the size. Hopefully you'll be able to see. So this one comes in, as mentioned, it comes in at 114 millimeters, whereas this one comes in just at about 100 millimeters. So size-wise, you can see that there's just about a centimetre's difference in it. The other major difference comes in when you look at the width of these. So the Baton Pro, or at least the Baton 3 Pro, sorry, comes on the inside with an 18650 battery. Now this is one of Olight's proprietary 18650 batteries, so they don't work with other ones. And that's really the main difference when we've looked at the thickness of these. So this one, what was it? It was 26 millimeters. This one is just a little bit less. In fact, if I put them so that they're on tail end to end like that, hopefully you'll be able to see it's maybe 3 millimeters difference between the two, but mainly that does come down to the size of the batteries that are in there. An 18650 and a 21700 are definitely different sizes, but this is the little the trade up that you get between the two. This one, I mean, I was going to say this one fits perfectly in your pocket. They both fit really well into your pocket. I will give it to that. Considering this is the max and it's just maybe a centimetre longer and a few millimetres wider, really, when you're using both of these, there's very little difference between the two, and you don't really feel that much of a difference between the two. I've been testing this out now. I've had this a while now, and it's been really strange because I've had this in my pocket for days on end, and I've thought, wow, yeah, this really is as small as the other one, until I've got this one and gone, oh, actually, yeah, that is a little bit smaller. They just feel the same. It's only until you put the two of them next to each other that you actually, you really appreciate that the Max is just that extra little bit bigger. Probably the best one to compare it to size-wise, if I just put the Pro down for a second, hold these up next to each other, you can see here that we have the Warrior Mini 2. Now, as far as the length is concerned, that's where you'll be able to see these are similar, whereas with the Warrior Mini 2, you'll be able to see on the inside of here, this also has an 18650 battery as well. That again is a subtle difference, and being able to put these next to each other, it's almost as though the Warrior Mini 2 is almost like a step between each of these. It's a little bit longer, or at least it's the same length as these, but just a little bit thinner and the same width as this one. Now, quickly before we have a look at how this works in the dark, we'll just quickly have a look at the user interface on here. But I will say I can touch on this quite quickly, mainly because if you're new to Olight, it's very simple, and it's one that is used by a lot of manufacturers. If you're used to Olight, it's certainly one that you'll have seen a lot of. So it's either a case of we have presses, we have long presses, and then we have some double presses as well. You can have instant access to the Moonlight mode with a long press. It's a simple click for on and off. Now, I was just in the Moonlight mode, but it will have a memory and it will take you back to the normal settings. I'd say the Moonlight mode is almost like a special setting, but you can go through them with a long press. So you've got low, medium, and high, and then if you do another long press, it'll take you back down to low. Should you need to go to the turbo mode, whether it's turned off, in fact, let's turn it off now, you can do a double press and it will take you up into the turbo mode. There is on here a proximity sensor. So if you notice there, so we're on turbo, and as my hand gets closer to it, it then kicks down. That is a security feature, so if you turned it on in your pocket by accident, you wouldn't set fire to your pocket, because this does emit quite a bit of heat. There is the ability to be able to turn that off, but I think considering it's on there for a reason, I certainly wouldn't recommend turning it off. And then you can do a triple press, and then that will then take you onto the strobe mode as well. It's a very simple UI, and as I mentioned, it's a user interface that is used and has been used by Olight for quite some time, and I think it's whether Olight came up with it or whoever came up with it, but it's definitely one that's used by a lot of manufacturers. Okay, so the sun's gone down, and what we can do is we can do that long press, which gives you direct access through to the Moonlight mode. Now, the Moonlight mode is just 1 lumen, so I've got this out in front of me here. Being able to see out in the dark, it's not completely dark yet, so I mean, I'm not going to say it's affecting my night vision, but I think with 1 lumen's certainly very good to be able to find your keys, that sort of thing, or maybe you're trying to find something and you don't want to, I don't know, maybe wake your significant other whilst you're trying to find something in the bedroom. But the 1 lumen, especially when it's pitch black, does a very good job. But I think if you're going to want a little bit more out of that, you can do your long press, which now hopefully, as you can see, bumps us up to 15 lumens. So 15 lumens, it really is a lot easier. So there's a tree here, a fallen tree in front of me, which is about 3 meters away, and it's perfectly easy to be able to see that.
behind there you can just see, roughly in the center here, you can just see a tree there. Hopefully you can pick that up. But with 15 lumens, it does, again, you know, it's a great being able to find something if you're in a bedroom or you're just somewhere and it's pitch dark. I actually prefer some of these lower settings. You know, I certainly talk about this a lot, but I find the lower ones I tend to use more. One, because it does conserve your battery. It also conserves your night sight a little bit better. But sometimes you don't really need some of those higher settings. Now from the low mode, we can then do a long press, which does a nice jump, roughly times 10. It goes up from 15 lumens up to 120 lumens. Now this certainly makes it easier when you're out and about walking the dogs with a light like this, being able to see in front. So there's those trees that I was pointing at before. They're about 10 meters away. I'm just trying to see if I can get this into focus, so I do apologize, but it is struggling to focus on some of those trees there at the back. But I can easily see into the woods. I could probably see about 20-30 meters into there. As I mentioned, these trees here in the middle are about 10 meters away, but there are further ones behind there that I can actually see. Unfortunately, the camera just doesn't pick this up. But a really nice spill. Hopefully, so you'll be able to see that there is a bit of a hotspot in the middle. It's certainly not what you'd call a defined hotspot. The light, or at least the reflector on this, does a very good job of being able to diffuse. No, diffuse isn't the right word, is it? But be able to spread that light across a large area. I've done this with some other lights, but so pushing this forward, turning it 45 degrees, back again, turning it 45 degrees. You can see around the spill, around the cusp, the skirt of the spill there. It's not what you'd call a defined area. And that lends itself to an EDC flashlight like this. You know, it's very good at being able to illuminate a large area of where you're walking. Now, from medium up onto the high mode, I actually quite like this jump. So we go from 120 lumens up to 800 lumens, which I think is actually quite a good jump. Rather than having medium being, they could have easily gone for like maybe 300 or 400. I think it's probably, I like the increments that they've done with this. Going up to 800 is a nice big jump, considering when you're on turbo it goes up to 2500 lumens. But I think having medium lower down is probably a better use of the battery, and I quite like the decision that Olight have made in order to be able to do that, to conserve some of that light. But here up at 800 lumens, you can see a lot further, just shining this now. So there's those trees, the other trees that are past there. You can see, if I can get my finger, so that tree is probably about 15 meters away, and then these trees behind are probably maybe 30-35 meters away. But very good job. Looking up into the canopy of the tree here, you can see it does a good job at being able to illuminate those leaves. Like, unfortunately with most things though, you know, I don't think the camera does a best job at being able to do it. Now, as far as the LED and the light that it's producing, I will say that it's a good quality light. This is the white light. There does seem to be a little colour to it, but I certainly wouldn't say that it's anything that's off-putting. But again, you know, it's doing a great job of being able to illuminate this area. What you'll find with the high mode here on the 800 lumens is that there will be a kick down, so it'll then drop down to 120 lumens after a period of time. Just holding this up, I'm just trying to get a different angle, so rather than pointing out forwards, I'm holding this up so that we can get kind of more of a flood cover like this. Hopefully you can see again here, so holding this forward, turning it 45 degrees as well, you've got that really nice kind of spill in there. Now from any mode, whether it's turned off whether it's turned off or it's on like this. You can do a double click, and that's where you get that beautiful ramp up. I'm going to hold this high up in the air, so this is that full 2500 lumens, and look at that. It really is stunning when you get this out into the dark and you see the amount of power that this thing is giving out. And even when you're just holding it up like this, and you can see the heat radiating from it. But it's just starting to kind of snowy rain. We've got a bit of sleet at the moment. But yeah, this really does punch into the night. Being able to see further through, especially down there now, so that there is a path down there. I could easily see trees that are 80, 90 meters away, not struggling to see them in the dark whatsoever. But now with this large illuminated area with 2500 lumens, it does a great job of being able to see what you need to see in the dark. It does have a kick down as well. So after roughly a minute, and I'm just going to turn, oh, sorry, let's go back to, oh, no, where am I going? Let's go back to high. So it will kick down after roughly a minute, and then it will drop down to 800 lumens. But still, again, you know, you're getting a good amount of light out of that. We're just going to have to focus everywhere as well. Come on, come back. But there you go. I mean, here on high, I think this does a perfectly good job. But just going through those again, so we have, so here is low, which is our 15 lumens. Then we have medium, which is our 120 lumens. Do a long press again, and then we go up to high, which is our 800 lumens. And then with double press, we get that massive jump up to 2500 lumens. You can also do the triple press, which then gives you access to the strobe. It's not a variable refresh strobe. I think for an EDC light like this, just see if I can capture some of this, some of the heat that's coming out from this. It certainly doesn't need to be a variable refresh strobe. Yeah, it's not that tactical function that you really need. But yeah, does an absolutely amazing job of being able to get you to see what you need to see in the dark. And you know, that's really all that we need from a flashlight, isn't it?
The Baton 3 Pro Max from Olight was such a great idea. The Baton 3 Pro is from last year one of my, if not my top EDC flashlight. It's just so palmable, so pocketable, and does everything that you need it to do. But with the extra oomph that you get with the Pro Max, it's a difficult decision which one to pick up. And I mean, I say it's a difficult decision. It's not a difficult decision in the fact that whichever one that I pick up, whether it's the the Pro Max or just the Pro, they're both exceptionally good flashlights. And I think for EDC flashlights, if you're kind of umming and ahhing between the two, if you've got enough money to get the two, then why not? But yes, very, very good lights. Now, of course, Olight being Olight, they do have a sale on at the moment. So have a look at the links and the information in the description below, so you'll be able to see exactly how much discount you can get. If you choose to use my links, it just gives my channel a small kickback, which allows me to continue to make content like this. Now, I say content like this in the respect for this flashlight. This was sent to me free of charge, but with the understanding and discussions that I have with Olight, hello Judy if you're watching as well, that should I dislike this, I generally would tell you, but generally what I'll tend to do is if I see something that I don't think I would like, I don't like to make negative content, so I wouldn't have accepted this from them, if that makes sense. But yes, so all of those links are below as well, and yes, it will just help for future pieces of content, should you choose to use my links. Or if you don't want to use my links, and you know that there's another content creator out there that does also have Olight links, use theirs, because you'll be able to help to pay for help to give money back to those guys as well. Yeah, so it's a full circle kind of thing. But anyway, for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. The right move for Olight to do. This still is, and of the two, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with this. No, I can't say that, can I? Can I? I like them both, I really do. See, when you hold them like that, they don't look the same size, but that's mainly because this is 3D and my eye is looking at it from 2 different angles. But when I put them on top of each other just like that and close one eye, then I can see that they are exactly. And maybe I should just do that, I'll just do it with one eye. But then I suppose for the camera, you're looking at this almost as though you've got one eye, which makes sense. Waffled a bit on that last bit, didn't I? But it is true though, I think it's fair that I think all YouTubers, they should really mention that. The links that we have on here, they do help to fund the channel. A lot of the stuff that I'm wearing, or even like the gimbal that I have in my bag at the moment, all of that stuff was funded through affiliate links. It doesn't cost you guys anything more, but it's sort of like, it's like a kind of commission thing. But even if you don't like my content and you see somebody else's and you think, do you know what, I'd actually like to give them the money, then if you use their links, then that's a very easy and simple way for you to help to support their channel as well. So yeah, I think I'm big on building, whether it's for me or whether it's for somebody else. I'm really up for supporting as many people as possible in that kind of way. I think it's a good thing to do. I think I was going to say Christianly thing to do, which I think is probably the right word, whether it's a Christian or what do they call it, judo Christian kind of thing. Anyway, yeah, so there you go. I need some Burt's Bees, my lips again, a bit dry.